yet until that thing. There we go. This episode is brought to you by yours truly, Matt Noren of Remax Bell Park. For all of your real estate needs, call me, 860-428-6534. Your dreams are my job. The Community Workbench podcast is in the middle of their Spread the Love campaign. If you can, donate some food, donate some scarves or anything you can to your local food pantry. There are plenty around. There's plenty of people who need it. And these are the leaner months for donations until we get to the holidays. So if you can, just keep it in mind. If you have any extra money or any extra food laying around, please donate it. Welcome to the Community Workbench. This is Matt Noren and Kyle Morrissey's fill-in, Eric Gould. We are your hosts of the #1 podcast in my basement. I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. At the bench, we try to repair the sense of community. So every week we bring you small businesses, entrepreneurs, community leaders, charities, and pretty much whoever we feel like talking to. And today we feel like talking to Chris Tsanjoures from Rational Acoustics. They are the developers of SMAART acoustic test and measurement and DSP modeling software. And man, I hope you have some time because it's going to take a while to explain all that to me. Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Hey, man, thanks for coming out.
Fun.
So what do you do? What is this?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. In any field that you're in, there's a whole ecosystem of people behind the scenes. Whether you're making toaster ovens or TVs, in our case, pro audio equipment, there's multiple manufacturers. There's people that work for these companies that design these products.
Yeah.
They're all, people need a toaster, right? Someone's going to design the toaster. Someone's going to sell the toaster. Someone's going to build the toaster.
Right.
For us in pro audio, we make, it's a tool, right? It's a tool that's used. You can think of it like something that if you're in a workshop here, something like a protractor, you need to verify a measurement, or a tape measure, you need to verify a measurement. Only we're doing it with software and we're doing it with sound. So with SMAART, it's an acoustical analyzer. It will show you on a screen how loud something is, how loud a specific frequency is. It'll show you the difference in time between one sound arrival and another sound arrival, and so on and so forth. It'll show you what the reverberation time is of a space. It'll show you how intelligible loudspeaker system is in a space. All of this to get to the point where your systems sound better. So where SMAART is used predominantly, our largest market is like the professional touring concert industry. So if you will imagine, you buy a PA system. Say, if you ever go to a concert in an arena, look up above the left and the right of the stage. There's these giant bananas of speakers.
Yeah.
So it's the same speaker, same system everywhere you go, but every room was different. Every size of space is slightly different. The geometry is slightly different. The way that the acoustics interact is slightly different. And so what our software does is enables engineers, sound engineers in this case, to have a consistent tonality, a consistent deployment of that audio system, regardless of where they are. Because one day they're in a hockey arena, the next day they're in a basketball arena of a different size in a different state, in town. But the same, the speaker system didn't change, but everything else did, Wow. So how can you get to a place where it's the same as it was yesterday? So you have a consistent experience, night to night, show to show. And so, we developed this software product. And it's an interesting world because there's not a ton of people that develop acoustical test and measurement software, as you can imagine.
I don't know if I could say that.
Right? Yeah. So there's a handful of companies that make their own products. Where Rational Acoustics sort of separates ourselves from the other companies that develop similar products is that we've been doing it for quite a long time. So the SMAART product as a brand was essentially, it was birthed in like 95.
Oh, wow.
And so it's gone through many iterations in terms of like ownership and who's there. It started off as, a three or so people company. It was independently owned, and then the first manufacturer that you may have heard of that bought the brand was JBL.
JBL.
And so JBL owned basically the distribution rights of SMAART, and this was in the 90s. And then, over the course of time, and I'm going to paraphrase the wiki. You can go on the Wikipedia and see Rational Acoustics, his whole life story, or our website, rationalacoustics.com. There's a timeline of sort of major events. But to fast forward through a few different trade-offs, eventually a group of people that worked at a company called Eastern Acoustic Works, which is one of the large, manufacturers of concert sound systems. They sold the brand to the people that I work with. So this was in 2008. And they decided to open up their first Rational Acoustics office in downtown Putnam, Connecticut, in the Apple Storage Building next to the town garage, or the fire station and the police station.
Yeah.
And so, it total like happenstance that's where it ended up. There's a confluence of factors, and Putnam ended up being the right place. I'm from Putnam, so
Okay.
So it worked out for me.
Yeah.
And right time of my life too. I graduated college in 2010. So I was home for Christmas on my senior year of college, and went to a party above the original Rational Acoustics office, which is again the second floor of the Apple Storage Building. And my folks and the people that own the apartment, they're like, hey, you can go downstairs and meet the Rational Acoustics people. They do what you do, because I went to school for music production.
Okay.
So like recording, and I studied guitar and stuff, and so I knocked on the door. I'm not shy, so I knocked on the door, and it was the four original owners of the company. The two of which are still actively involved in the day-to-day running of the company, Jamie and his wife Karen Anderson. And then it was Calvert, who's since retired. He's still a partner, but he's retired. And then the original programmer, Adam, has moved on. He's still alive. He's just moved on from Rational Acoustics.
Gotcha.
And so anyway, mind you, I'm a senior in college, and I've just always been interested in audio. Like, it's been something I've always been sort of passionate about, from just general interest in like how things get louder, and technology is cool, and so I started doing like live sound shows in college my freshman year. So when I met the Rational Acoustics people, I already had essentially 4 years of field experience doing sound
for bands. You're working on the mix
clubs. Dude. Okay. I when I was a freshman in college, my first semester, I answered an email that was just like an open email to everyone in the program at the Hart School of Music where I went to college, and it was like, looking for help doing sound for clubs, like bars and stuff, and mostly the like southwestern part of the state. And I was like, absolutely, like, let's go. That sounds like a blast. And so I went and met up with this fella, and it was a van with a modest system that fit in the back, a couple 18-inch dual subwoofers, like, for me at the time, really big stuff. Like, I was like, going from whatever the high school had, which was like a couple speakers, to like a system that was like a real mixing console that was like 24 channels, and like racks of gear and monitors. And in today's world, it would be like, half the amount of stuff, and it would be more output and more capable. But this was in like, 2006. Anyway, so Rational, sort of offered me more or less a job on the spot. They were like, nice. They were like, oh, great, you're from Putnam, you're graduating college, like, come back when you're done, we'll hook you up. But it was, the company had just started, and they really needed technical support at that time.
Was it only those four people running?
It was those four people, and then we had a secretary that did like order processing and stuff. Yeah.
Wow. And so you were there.
Yeah.
Sixth higher.
Seventh.
So okay.
Yeah. So they had this position that was like a computer tech job. Eric would have, he would have killed it. probably, you know, but I didn't, you know, I'm a sound engineer fundamentally. Like, you know, I'm a user of the products. I'm not, you know, I'm technical enough for me to like do what I need to do, but like I've got people that I ask questions for when I, you know, things are over my head pretty quickly when it comes to computer stuff. So, but they still like, they were like, you know, you can still intern, right? Like just, you know, like come intern. So they ended up hiring a buddy of mine from high school, John Aldrich, and he became that position that they were looking for, and then I interned, and then at the like sort of at the end of the summer, I met a band that I had done sound for at like a freelance show, which is like, I mean, you're familiar with the term of freelance, you know, so not my day job, just something I do for fun. I still do a lot of freelance work in sound, and so this band, I ended up going on tour with them for like a year and a half, and then sometime in that time period, Jamie called and he was like, "We have a position, like we have something that's like gonna fit you, and do you want to come back and, you know, try it out?" And I was like, "Absolutely!" Like this band thing is, you know, the writing was on the wall with that. It wasn't gonna be lasting too much longer. So yeah, so I came back home, you know, lived with my folks and started working at Rational Acoustics, and so this is now basically 2010, 2011. I think 2011 is when I came back. It was like that winter. And to your question of what is SMAART, I had no idea. Like I still didn't know, you know, like it was like,
it was a great roundabout.
yeah. So, you know, one of the first things that I did when I got my position was go to a training seminar. So we have these SMAART training seminars are all over the world. We've got like 25 or so instructors and, you know, almost as many languages. And so I went with Jamie to a class in, I think it was Pittsburgh. And you know, one of his things was like, you're going to have to figure out how to describe what SMAART is in like 30 seconds. Like just like tell someone like what it is. Like it's you know, it's an acoustical analyzer that helps you have even sound, you know. And you know, so yeah, you know, and then that was in 2011. So employee 7, I've been there ever since, and it's been a really interesting journey. You know, as I've, you know, I think in the last, you know, since I've had kids, so I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and you know, since then coming around and, you know, being more involved, I've just become more involved in the community in general, which is why I think your podcast is really neat. I'm looking at your logo for the community Workbench. You know, it's something that I never really envisioned myself being here, because I never really thought that there'd be a job for me here. Like I just assumed I was going to live in Nashville. I interned in Nashville when I was in college. That was sort of where I had my mind set. Like,
setting
like
up
I was
roots.
Stay on the East Coast, but like go to Nashville. It probably would have been fine too, because like, you know, this is almost 20 years ago. Nashville was just starting to really blow up like it has now. And it just didn't happen that way. You know, I got involved with Rational, and I was just like shocked that there is a genuinely like high-end professional company in here, like in Putnam,
right. And it's amazing the things we have here in Northeast Connecticut.
It's, you know, people, you know, it's like it's something we were joking about earlier. It's like, you know, the local community doesn't have necessarily a need for an acoustical analyzer, right? But everyone that is in the community that's ever gone to a concert, you've probably seen the product. You know, you don't know it, or you've been around it. It's been in the room, right?
Right.
And so yeah, it's been cool, you know.
So what would be your job title now?
Yeah, sure.
What?
So currently, director of product management and market and product management. So,
and what does that entail?
Yeah. So what's sort of interesting, for, you know, for me, it was very interesting. I'm sure for people that are listening as well, if they're at all involved in sound or audio, or, you know, what I didn't realize when I was in college, and it's not something that they talked about when you study, like when you go to a music production track, they teach you like at least when I was there, maybe it's different now, but like they teach you the job of operating equipment, and like what a compressor does, and like understanding the various things you have to understand to be an effective like sound engineer or something. what they don't tell you is that if you like this microphone, there's a company that makes this microphone that is going to make more microphones, and they're going to need people to help sell those microphones, to help design those microphones, to help specify what those microphones do, what market holes they have as a company. Like, we're not making microphones for recording sports, so we should have a shotgun microphone that's a very directional microphone for recording, a sports thing, or
standing right there.
yeah, or whatever. That might not, maybe not the perfect analogy, but like, because a shotgun microphone is very directional, so like that's more of like a broadcast thing where like you're recording. Like if we had microphones here, if it's a video shoot, for TV or something, there's a microphone
boom.
with a big fluffy thing,
The big shaggy thing.
yeah,
yeah,
it's
I
a shotgun microphone.
I want to pet him.
Right at someone. Yeah. Parabolic microphone would be more for like a sports thing where it's like a microphone that has a dome around it, so like it's like a beam that's like can like record something from quite far away.
Okay.
And there's more. I just keep going.
Yeah.
But
Very nerdy. I like it.
yeah, but like what I wasn't told is that there's so many jobs in the manufacturing side of the industry. You don't have to be a creative in the sense of you're a famous mix engineer, or you're recording bands all the time, or you're a high-end live sound engineer or whatever. Those are just options.
Yeah.
And what I sort of was told in college was that if you want to have a normal like 9 to 5 job with benefits, the only place for that is in like broadcast production, like television production, which is absolutely nonsense. There's no way that's true. The industry has changed so much with like streaming and stuff,
Yeah.
But so I've been, once I embraced that, like I have a position where like as a director of product management, I'm helping define the products that we make, what they look like, how they fit into our overall ecosystem of products, what the products look like, what their feature set is, how we're going to talk about them to potential customers, and how we're going to explain to our distributors and dealers how to talk about them to their customers.
Wow.
What the marketing copy is like when we need, we're coming out with a product. How do we tell people about it? What are things that we aren't addressing that we should to meet market needs? So all that stuff is sort of my world.
Yeah, it sounds like you gotta know like everything about it.
That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It's the like you put in the time. So like because I've only had this job, like I've never worked for another company or anything.
That's
like,
wild.
I think waiting tables at 85 Main in high school was probably the last job I had that wasn't in the industry.
Yeah.
Because once I got to college, I just made a decision. I'm not taking any non-industry jobs. That's why I mixed shows and I got involved with regional sound companies and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was going to be what I did. Like,
that's a great kind of idea to just say I'm going to focus on this, whether it's the lowest paying job on the planet or
you work your way up.
Whatever.
Yeah. You got to put in the time.
That was a great. I don't know. That's a great thing. You're just kind of like burning the bridge. This is what I'm in the industry. And I'm not getting out.
I remember like there's a very conscious decision at one point at a dinner with my folks, and I think maybe my girlfriend at the time, and I'm pretty sure it was at Bella's as well in Putnam. But my father, talking about like what my plan is, what like do I have a backup plan? Like what if the music thing doesn't work out or whatever, and I don't know if I said it out loud or if I thought it to myself and like kind of just brushed off the conversation fuzzy, but like whatever the outcome was, I remember like making a decision that I will not have a backup plan. I will do this 100%.
Wow.
And like, if it doesn't work, that's okay. Like, we'll figure it out, we'll else, like we'll make something happen. But like, I need to give audio a real shot. And like, that just like informed my like, sort of like approach and confidence towards everything moving forward. Cause it's just like, no, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. So are you an audio engineer?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And that's like, is that what you did in college too? Mm-hmm. That's like the degree you got?
Yeah. So like my degree is music production technology. I went to the Hart School of Music, which is a conservatory. So I had to study an instrument to be there. So I studied classical guitar. Yeah, I mean, I still mix shows all the time. I just mixed the Almost Queen show at the Loose Center on Friday. I do a lot of community stuff. More and more involved with the Putnam Parks and Rec department and like just things that are happening in Rotary Park.
Nice.
Kind of all started with Eric actually. I did Particle Accelerator. I did sound for Particle Accelerator. It was 3 years ago. Was it my first year?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 years ago. Yep. And I don't remember the exact specifics. I don't know if because I think Jeff Grocky did it before that, or John Normington maybe.
All of the above.
Yeah, like local, great local.
We've had
local
many
guys,
sound
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And again, I don't remember the specifics of how I ended up getting involved, but I did, and then for me it's like super cool. Like I love the idea that I can sort of give my skills back to the community, like
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
And if you go to the band, if you ever get into the bandstand in Putnam, there's a like a pass through in the behind the stage. It's a hole in the ceiling where they have a winch and they can lift equipment up and down, and it says WRC 2003, and it's White Rose Confession, which was a band that I played bass in when I was 14, and we played at the bandstand like when it first opened, and I tagged the wall. WRC
Oh, it was you.
2003. Willie Biscuit, not happy with me. But,
Well, you just confessed in stereo. Dude.
yeah, dude, he knew all about it.
I think he retired.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like it's kind of like a full circle thing. It's super cool.
Yeah,
to
that's
me,
awesome.
like to be able to do events there. So. I just did sound for Pride, which was a couple weeks ago. It was very wet
Pride.
day, but
Yeah.
we did it. And then actually just today I got confirmed that I'm providing audio for a river fire in July.
Nice.
So it's like cool. Like now, like I'm doing 3 events now.
Yeah.
That potentially a year. I don't see how things go. In Putnam, like in the town of Groveland. Like my house is like 2 miles away from the lawn. It's like it's so
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to Jimmy, the new rec director
Jimmy
too.
is
He's really
great.
cool, and he's apparently latched on to Chris, which is the move.
Well, I think it's helpful when you're in that position to not have to stress or think about that side of stuff.
right, certain things you just
know?
like I got that box checked.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You don't have to worry about
and
it.
that's always how I've tried to be, like as a
Removing
professional,
headaches.
just be like, no, like we're gonna.
That's my problem.
We'll get it done.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go to you if there's a problem. I'll figure it out first, and
Yeah.
worst case scenario, I'll give you a really easy solution.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I had turned him on to you.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Yeah, my first year Willie was still there, and I think it was his first year, and they're kind
Got it. Okay, that's
together.
ringing a bell now. I tell everybody about how cool you are.
Appreciate it.
Well, that's how I got you here on the benches through him.
The other one that I've been doing for since 2022 or 2021 or I don't know, but the Brooklyn Fair. So
Brooklyn
like,
Fair. Oh wow.
Yeah, so
okay.
like I if you go to the main stage of the Brooklyn Fair, I'm basically running that show too.
Oh wow. So I'll see you there.
Yeah.
I'm one road over with the Troop 44's
Oh, okay.
chicken barbecue.
Yeah. I always go there for the cheap waters.
Yeah. Yep. We have. We're nonprofit, so we don't.
Or the
we
ice
don't,
or whatever.
we don't gouge.
Get something. Do you guys distribute the ice too, or is that the?
No, that's somebody else. Yeah.
But it's a scout troop, right?
It's Young Marines.
Oh,
I
the Young
think.
Marines.
I
Okay.
think it's Young Marines.
Yeah, that's always the morning call. Ice in the coolers at front of house and on the stage.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
And Caitlin Gugliotti, I think is how you pronounce her last name. And I'm so sorry to Caitlin if she finds out that I didn't pronounce her name correctly. But she runs, all the stage entertainment booking and stuff.
Oh, nice.
There, and
Okay.
she's great. And our families go way back. So like her father's Paul Archer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Paul.
Yeah, and like my dad's played golf with him forever. I think he built his house or something. Like my
Nice.
father's a contractor, was before he retired. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That small town thing.
Yeah.
There.
Well, like I said, community, right? Like,
Yeah, Paul's been on here.
Oh,
He's got
yes?
an episode. Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Did you meet any interesting people working at Rational Acoustics?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's just part of the thing, early on in the whole situation, it was like, what do you like around famous people? Like, are you gonna be cool?
Yeah.
And And yeah, I mean, I have no, famous people, musicians or whatever,
No.
they're providing a service to the audience. We're providing a service to them,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so I don't get starstruck,
Yeah.
in a way, like it's just, and not only that, I don't even want to be around a lot of them, because like they got their whole entourage and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
just weird, and like I'm good, like, but yeah, over the course of my career, I've, it's because I've been in it for almost 20 years, people that started at the same time as me, and they went down whatever path they went down. Someone like, I guess I'll pick up a few names, but there's an engineer named Kyle Gerhardt who I've known for like 15 years, and he was mixing all sorts of bands that were like the big bands in the early 2000s, like the I don't know, like they call it like the butt rock genre or whatever, like
Never heard that term.
puddle of mud or
Oh yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Whatever. Like,
Wasn't that just new metal? I thought.
New metal's more like Limp Bizkit because it has DJ and rap. That's always been more of the new metal thing. It has like a DJ.
I don't know. I think of new metal like Stained.
Yeah, I guess that qualifies too.
You know what I mean? Or
He's hardcore country now.
Yeah,
Aaron
he
Lewis.
is. Yeah.
I don't know.
And
I don't even know.
He
Who
still
he is.
sings for Stain, but
But
he's
he's a
the
country
stuff he
thing, yeah.
produces.
Is he the one that had the silly goatee like you
No.
freshman year? Static X.
Oh yeah. I thought you were thinking about the Draymond guy from that has the 3 spikes, the Disturbed guy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's disturbing.
So you know what? I'll get back to Kyle because that is a fun story. But when I was growing up, like high school, like my freshman year of high school or something, I think that was right when Creed was like probably the biggest band on the planet for rock music. I was a huge Creed fan. Like I knew all their songs. I played guitar, so like I knew like.
Oh, so you knew him.
I knew My Own Prison front to back. I could play any of those songs. Like if I wasn't playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater, I was practicing Creed songs. And so when I was in college, I worked for the sound company and Alter Bridge, who's basically Creed without Scott Stapp. That is Alter Bridge. Only Miles Kennedy is the singer instead of Scott Stapp.
Huh.
And they were playing a show at the Webster Theater, and they needed more subwoofers to supplement what the Webster Theater has. And so I provided the subwoofers. I, drove a truck over and unloaded, 6 or 8 or whatever, double 18 cabinets and babysat them throughout the night. And the front of house engineer for Alter Bridge, I at some point during the night I was like, hey, like it'd be really cool. Do you think I can meet Mark Tremonti, the guitar player?
Yeah.
And I basically got like like the comedy of like a sheep, like a hook, like like I got like pulled aside real quick.
Oh no.
And it was just like, hey, like are you here to like meet people? Are you here to like do the job because you're into the work?
Yeah.
Because like don't
Yeah.
ask to meet people,
Right. Yeah.
And so that was like a sort of a life lesson in a way, because like after that it was just like any bit of like I want to meet a band member, just like
Went right
see you
out the
later,
window. Yeah.
I'm here
Yeah,
because
you're
I
more
want the
focused
job.
on the craft of
Yeah.
what you're doing.
And so fast forward probably, I don't know, 10 years or whatever, and then the Mark Tremonti band was playing in Connecticut, I think in New Britain. There's an old indoor soccer hall or bar or something that they played. I don't know what it was called, but I was providing what we call stacks and racks in the industry. So speakers and amplifiers for the speakers, and then the band provides everything else. They provide all the microphones and the mixing consoles and stuff, and you're just there to provide the equipment to make it louder because they can't fit all that stuff in their trailer or whatever.
Yeah,
so. So yeah, stacks and racks for the Mark Tremonti band, and then the front of house engineer invited me on the tour bus to hang out, after sound check, and I'm just on the tour bus, and Mark Tremonti's like, like, hey man, you want a drink? Like, like here I am, and I'm very conscious of like this is a full circle moment. Like, like 10 years ago, I would have thought it was really cool to meet this guy, and now it's just like part of life. I'm just on the bus, and I go to the back of the bus, and on a tour bus, the back of the bus is the lounge area.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like a horseshoe usually, and that's like where go hang out.
Yeah.
And so I'm on the back of the bus, sitting down next to Wolfgang Van Halen, Van Halen's son, and the front of house engineer for their band. Front of house is the person that makes the sound for the audience. And we're passing around, what we're passing around, and I'm just sitting there going, "This is crazy!" I ended up here,
Right.
But yeah, that similar sort of stories like that have continually happened in my career as I've gone, and it's just part of the life.
Yeah.
Being being around people that are famous, as a matter of fact, but like.
Right.
For if you're just working, it's just they're just people. There's people they're again, we're providing a service that they need. They're providing a service to the audience, and they're also providing the mechanism for everyone else to have a job.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you got to meet your hero and tell him, without you, there would be no Nickelback.
Well, to put a button on the Kyle thing, so eventually Kyle started mixing. All right. Sorry, Kyle, if you're going to watch this. I believe he was mixing Fuel, the band Fuel, if you remember them from
Yep.
like 2006 or so. And they opened for the Scott Stapp band, and he just is a good front of house engineer. He's a good mixer, and he did a great job. And the person that was with the Scott Stapp band maybe didn't do as good of a job, and he ended up shifting into that position. And so now he was working for Scott Stapp. Creed is not a band at this point. They're on undefined hiatus, and Kyle just kind of, he grounded out. He knew that eventually Creed's going to get back together. Like eventually the dollar signs are going to stack up enough that Creed will reunite, and he wanted to be
at
the guy,
Be the guy.
And so, sure enough, a couple years ago, Creed finally reunites, and Kyle's mixing front of house. So he's going from like, doing club tours and stuff to doing the biggest venues that you can do,
Wow.
And so like go visit Kyle, and then all of a sudden, like, here I am back hanging out with the guys from Creed, and like, at this point now, I'm sure none of them would know my name, but they'll recognize me from being around and stuff. And that's just, it's, just like anything else, you see people and, you're like, oh yeah, I remember you. You're cool, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't stalk me.
Yeah. You weren't weird.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. Just don't be weird.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
How hard is it to go from an indoor venue, like say Mohegan Sun, something like that, to like an outdoor venue, like name one outdoor.
Great Woods, Xfinity Center.
Yeah.
Any of those sheds, or even just the park downtown.
Right. Yeah.
Anyone that does this will tell you that they prefer to be outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
wouldn't have thought that.
yeah. So the challenges with outside are mainly come down to like, is it dry? Is it humid? That affects the sound. But like, there's no reverberation, right? There's no sound coming back at you that you didn't ask for.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
So when you're indoors, there's stuff coming back at you. There's frequencies are just hanging out in the venue. You hit that kick drum and it doesn't go duh. It goes duh. Say you look at your watch, it's 6 seconds have gone by and you still hear the kick drum.
Wow.
And so outside,
It just goes away.
You have freedom to do what you'd like to do. You mute the channel on the mixing console and you don't hear that instrument anymore.
Yeah.
So like I absolutely prefer mixing outdoors. I find mixing indoors to be challenging. I mean, it's just you have to do a lot more to make room for stuff, and make so things are just piling on top of everything else because the room becomes an instrument. Effectively, like imagine like a giant cello and put a band in a giant cello. That cello's got a tonality to it. The room's like that too, and it varies on the size of the space, and then compound that with like the stage volume. So you have the speakers that the audience is listening to, but then if a band is using speakers that they're listening to, stage monitors, that's contributing to the overall sound too in a negative way. And so you have to manage that interaction and get over that. And so it can get challenging and get too loud, it can get too muddy, can undefined. And it just, a lot of that stuff just goes away when you're outside because the sound has nowhere to bounce off and come back to.
Right.
It just goes off.
That's interesting. And does does it help if you've been at Mohegan Sun being the mix guy for like multiple times, or does it matter? It's different every time, even if it's the same band? Or is
Yeah,
it like, I know how to do this
I
because
think
I've been here before?
so. Think of it more maybe in terms of like the type of venue. So, if you're talking about the arena at Mohegan Sun, that's a what is it, 10,000
Yeah,
capacity
10,000.
arena. So it's really not that much different than any other arena of that size. They're all going to have maybe slight idiosyncrasies, but
Okay.
it's more or less the same type of venue.
Gotcha.
And same thing with like a theater. So like 1,000 capacity theater or something is going to be basically the same as any other 1,000 capacity theater.
Okay.
To varying degrees of like, how old is it? Whether there's, a lot of angular surfaces and things to diffuse audio with, and like, so that the sound doesn't have such hard reflections.
Yeah.
I should say, I don't mix in like big spaces all the time. Like that's not my role. I'm around people that do fairly regularly, but
Yeah.
that's not something that I've never gone on tour and mixed like a band in arenas for a
Yeah.
month or something.
Gotcha.
Where we sit, Rational Acoustics, SMAART measurement software, the roles in general to basically divide along. There's a mix engineer and there's a system engineer. So the mix engineer takes the inputs from a stage, puts them into a mixing console, blends them all together so that from, say 60 inputs to maybe 4 outputs, left, right, subwoofers, maybe some fills or delay systems. And then the system engineer takes those 4 outputs and then waveform delivery service just sends them to all the speakers in the venue. And so it's generally the system engineer's responsibility to make sure that that's done correctly. Sometimes it's the same person, especially on smaller tours or something. But once you get into the bigger, arena stuff where they're traveling with their own systems and stuff, that's 2 different, very distinct roles.
Gotcha.
Oftentimes, the system engineer is a very capable mix engineer too, but their role isn't necessarily to do that. Their role is specifically to manage the system. And so both people would use SMAART, but they'll use it for slightly different purposes. So a mix engineer needs to know like what the sound is right now, like what I want to verify what I'm hearing on a computer screen and be able to look and see.
That's all right. Sorry.
That's all good. And so like what is this frequency that I'm hearing that's giving me trouble? Like what is the overall tonality of the system?
Yeah.
In SMAART, we call those single channel measurements, so like RTA measurements, which you've probably seen in RTA. I know you've seen in RTA. It's like the bars that jump up and down.
I have that right here.
There you go. Yeah. And so, so the other part of the analyzer that is, in a lot of ways the more important bread and butter of it is the transfer function measurement, which is not what is the sound, but what happened to the sound. So what happened when the signals left this mixing console, went through a sound system, interacted with an environment. What happened then? What did the speakers do to it? What did the room do to that? And so the system engineer is much more concerned with, in a lot of ways, that aspect of stuff.
Yeah.
What happened to the sound to make sure that it's being transmitted correctly, or as intended.
And if you're in a venue, any venue, and you're doing the sound check in the beginning, and it doesn't have any people in it, and then you fill it with people, that must change.
Oh yeah,
everything.
Yep.
Or
not everything. It generally will tighten things up a lot, though. Yeah. Indoors, it'll add a lot of humidity. It'll tighten up. It's not going to be like it's not necessarily going to be a completely different experience, but it will sort of lessen the amount of reflective surfaces. Just a bunch of bags of blood.
Have you tried a dehumidifier?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you got a venue full of people, and it's definitely like it's a more welcoming experience. Things are a bit warmer.
Yeah, gotcha.
Both physically warmer because there's people there, and also like from a sound perspective, I find it to be like less harsh. Like there's less stuff
to bounce off
around,
of. Yeah. So, and like, does it matter when you're outside, or what do you like better? Is it sunny day, overcast day? Does that make a difference? Is it hot day,
I've
cold day?
never I've never done anything in like bitter cold.
Okay.
But no rain is preferable for sure.
Right.
I've never done anything in like a desert, which I think is pretty interesting. So
maybe we go to Burning Man.
yeah. So it's I don't know if it's counterintuitive or not, but like, you ever go underwater in a swimming pool and like hear someone tap a wall or something, and like that just like it sounds like it's right next to you. It's because sound travels much more efficiently through water, through a medium that's liquid, not air necessarily. So the drier it is, the harder it is for the audio to transmit through that dry climate. If it's very humid, then there's a lot of water molecules in the air, and the sound has less of a problem.
Are you
punching
telling me
that.
humidity makes speakers louder?
No, it helps the sound from falling off, especially in the high frequency as soon.
Understood.
So it's like HF air loss, like our loss of HF over air.
I told you this was going to be nerdy, Matt.
Hey, I welcome it. This is super interesting to me. Like if a kid wanted to follow a career path to audio engineer, what would you recommend for them?
Yeah. Well, there's a mentality that you have to have, which is just be interested.
Yeah.
Right. Like, be curious, be interested, be willing to put yourself out there and do stuff, because, if you're timid, like, I don't want someone timid on my, I want to be able to tell you what I need you to do, and I want you to do it.
Yeah.
And then next time, I don't want to have to tell you to do that. I want you to know that that's what's expected.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of that kind of just overall mentality stuff, and I'm sure that tracks for like any profession, really.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But as far as like getting your foot in the door, the way I did it was I went to school for audio, because I didn't have any contacts here that I necessarily thought would be the right thing, and I wanted to have a bachelor's degree. And so all of the contacts I met through networking were started in Hartford, at the University of Hartford, at the Hart School of Music. And then, the luck of it when I met Rational, because they were in Putnam, was just all luck is opportunity and skill colliding.
Right.
And that's what happened for me.
Yeah.
Like, I had the opportunity to meet them. I had the skills that they were looking for. Some time went by, and here I am almost 20 years later,
Yeah. Plus, you were like, someone was like, go knock on the door and see what's up. It's like, that's... And
then do it,
Yeah.
But at the same point, so at the same time as that happened, I also applied for a job at Foxwoods Casino for an audio position, and I got that too.
Oh, wow.
So like, I wasn't necessarily putting all my eggs in Rational Acoustics. I was like, this is cool. I want to do this. So like, I'm going to make sure I have all the possible opportunities to make it happen,
Right.
And so, I was doing casual, sort of like on-call work at Foxwoods early in the Rational Acoustics days as well. But yeah, I mean, if you want to get into this, it's just like, find people that are doing it. If you go to a fair, right, like the Brooklyn Fair, go talk to me, and then I'll give you a tip. I mean, here's a sort of funny story, cool, really. There's a guy named Graham, blanking on his last name right now, but I did sound at the Hebron Fair for a number of years. This guy's from Hebron, and so he came up to me at the mixing console probably 10 years ago, and he was like, I'm studying at the University of New Haven for audio. How do I get to do what you're doing? And I was like, yeah, man, like, you just gotta be interested in like, what's your plan when you graduate? And he's like, I don't know, but I gotta figure it out. I was like, listen, are you like, how serious are you about this? And he was like, dead serious. I was like, okay, go to Pennsylvania, go knock on Claire Audio. Claire Global is like the biggest sound company in the world. They're in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. I was like, drive down there, knock on the door. And like, he did.
Nice.
And so like 2 or 3 years later, he came up to me at the Hebron Fair, and he's like, yeah, I just got off my first tour. I was the PA left tech for Disturbed. And I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, I went down to Claire Brothers, and like, they gave me a job. Because like, they will, like, they're just looking for bodies, and they'll train you. They just need to be interested.
Yeah.
And I think if you're a kid that's going to drive down from Hebron to Lidditz, Pennsylvania and say that you want to work, they'll probably take you seriously, you know?
Yeah, right. Wow, that's awesome.
And so now he's transitioned. He does mixing on Broadway. He does like really high end, you know, like serious line by line mixing, which is a whole nother skill set, you know. And he's
for like plays and verbal
for musicals,
stuff. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, he's killing it, you know. But like, that's what do you do? Well, you got to do it, you know. Just dedicate yourself to it.
Yeah.
Don't hold back, you know.
Awesome.
Go do it, and like, think about the way the music industry is now. Like, bands aren't making money selling records. Streaming isn't paying a fortune.
Right.
You know, so like there are so many opportunities in the industry, whether it's the manufacturing side that I'm on, or the touring side, if that's something you want to do. And there's sales positions, there's application support positions, there's all sorts of different avenues that you can go down, because these companies need people, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like bands need people, the tours need staff, so like AI is not going to replace someone unloading a truck and pushing a speaker into a venue, and plugging that in and understanding how to correctly wire the amplifier network and program whatever, like it's there's a lot of technology. It's like that's one of the really cool things about professional audio in general. Like there's a lot of technology, and you kind of have to know a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
You have to know how to do networking, like audio over IP, when I went to school, one of the requirements to start the program was I had to have a MacBook Pro. And I was like, why do I need a computer? I'm going to be a sound engineer. This is so stupid. and so now, fast forward, over at the Pride Festival in Putnam, my wife and kids came down, and my son George, he's 7. He's starting to, see what's going on and ask questions,
what Dad's
and get
doing.
curious. And so he comes up to me, and I'm at a mixing console, and it's a fairly good sized mixing console. It's it looks serious, and it's a professional console, and he's seen me at this many times throughout his life, and he goes, Dad, like, what is this? And I was like, this is a big computer, because it's a digital console. Like what can I say to him that's going to make him understand what it is? It's a big computer that makes sound louder,
Right.
And he's like, is this what you do when you're gone on Saturdays? He's like, is this what you do when you go to work on the weekend? I was like, yeah, this is what I'm doing when I go to work on the weekend. I'm operating this, I'm doing a show, or whatever. So,
yeah. Wow.
So he's starting to get it,
Yeah.
He loves computers too. So if he ever gets into audio, I'm happy to I think that'd be really fun.
Right. Yeah. To bring him up with it. Have you ever been to a venue where you're basically a consumer and thought, this is terrible audio engineer?
Last night.
Yep. Geez.
Yeah.
Name names.
We don't have to disparage anybody.
So, I and I can probably say we, as like people that do, industry stuff, like, it's going to take quite a bit for me to go to a show and pay money to see a show. And like, I have to really like the band, and then also have no contacts with anyone in that camp, as we would call it, like the people that are with that band.
Yeah.
In our position, with SMAART, because it's such a sort of ubiquitous tool in the industry, most of the shows that I would want to go see, someone there is using SMAART. And so I just need to figure out who that person is, and then just reach out, and then I can generally kind of, get into the show, and we talk shop and and become friends, and then as a bonus, I get to see the show.
Yeah.
That's the last part. That's as a bonus, I get to see the show, is actually the rarity, because most of the music I listen to is not music that's gonna be, they're not playing shows, like,
Okay.
I listen to a lot of stuff that's like, very like unknown instrumental guitar players and stuff, and
wow.
And they just don't play shows, so like
right.
so I'll go to concerts and stuff for work, and I'll enjoy it, and then I'll go to concerts for work where I'm actually running the production and I'll enjoy it and it's work. But as far as the going for fun is very, very rare.
Yeah.
Lately, there's only been like one band that's gotten me out to pay to see a show in the past few years. It's a band called Bill Murray. Not the actor, but
right.
Bill Murray with
What is
one
name?
word with an I.
Oh.
And
it's not named after him.
no, it's just Bill Murray. It's just
That is funny.
It's a funny name. And they're like a bunch of great songs. They're not really well known, but like they've been growing. And so the first time I saw them was at it might have been the Middle East in Boston. I don't know. I always confuse these venues. It's whatever. If you know, it's the one that's like a long horizontal venue. It's not deep. The stage is very shallow and it has a balcony. But they played there, sold out. It was, people are just on top of each other. It was crazy how sold out it was, and it sounded pretty good. I paid to go see the show. When my wife and I went, we got COVID right after. Great time. And then the next time that they came through Boston, again, we paid to go see the show. They played the Roadrunner in Boston, so like a venue like more than twice the size. Sold it out. Like, This is cool. Best sounding show I've ever been to. Like,
wow.
And that may or may not be true, but as far as like a band that I want to see and it sounding really good, it was like, oh yeah, this is like why I'm in this industry.
Yeah.
Like, this is so cool. And we were standing behind all the mixing consoles, and I could see that they had SMAART, running.
Yeah.
And so I shout down, and we're like, hey, like, yeah, we make that. And like, cool. Do you want to come down here? And we're like, no. Like, our seats were like, our standing area was like in a better position than
then they had the
lower
mixers.
area. And so like we had a nice view like over the crowd and stuff. And like I said, it's amazing. And then last night went to go see them, and got into the show because of industry connections. So like I bought tickets, but then day of show, I found out that like I have contacts within the camp, and we ended up having laminates at the will call. So I never even had to use my tickets.
Yeah.
And then I did stand at front of house with some friends from work and stuff, and it was just it was a not the same experience,
Yeah.
So.
Huh. Lucy, quiet.
But like I said, it's not always something. It's not always about me.
Yeah.
Right. Like when I go to a show, it's a lot of times it's about managing relationships and being connected with our users and seeing what they're up to, what their needs are, how they're using our software, what sort of things that they're doing that we could optimize better in a future release.
Yeah.
Keeping yourself sharp.
Yep, keeping ourselves.
You gotta stay there.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
That was a big thing for me, like especially before I had kids, when I was still sort of making sure that I understood the craft well. I would very much be like, I need to do shows, I need to do gigs, I need to do freelance work so I can apply the things that I'm
being
about,
a user has helped your occupation immensely, or your career.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's informed everything,
Yeah. Wow. That's wild. You want to talk about this show coming up?
Yeah, we'll plug it up. So this is cool. I'm from Putnam, right? This is the 20th year of Particle Accelerator. To me, this is something that's just been in Putnam my more than half of my life. I'm 37.
Wow.
So like Particle Accelerator has been, and let's take a step further. Eric used to host these like wild hardcore shows at the original Savage Systems location, which is like where the old Hallmark. What is it now? Like
it's the Subway, my boy.
Subway, yeah.
The Subway.
You can go get your $5 footlong.
Yeah, like when I was. You want to know something crazy? I had a red sweatshirt, like I don't know whether it was a Boston sweatshirt or what, but I used to have this red sweatshirt, and I would wear that to your shows because I knew that I was gonna probably mosh and get a bloody nose. And I didn't want to have a shirt that would be obvious that it has blood on it.
This is at Subway?
It wasn't Subway then.
What's up,
well,
I
mean, it wasn't a Subway. It was a computer store, okay?
Right.
No, so when Savage first opened, I'll be quick because this is not about me. When Savage first opened, we were an internet cafe with a repair shop in the back. The internet cafe, we would throw shows. all the best podcasts have a furnace. And we would have lots of local indie shows. This was in like 02-ish.
Yeah.
And at the time, a lot of the popular music was very heavy. And if you recall, about half of the bands wanted to sound like Incubus.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of line six
Everybody.
pods and yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Everyone wanted to sound like Incubus. Yeah, that's funny.
Like they wanted to sound verbally, like lyrics wise.
We're referring to the band Incubus.
Right,
and
right. I know
they
the
were just
Clean
band
guitar
after
verses
band
and heavy
hijacking
choruses,
the
yeah.
entirety of their song.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
People showing up with DJs
Yep.
and
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it, white dudes with dreadlocks.
Yep.
And things like that. It was very pervasive, and they just I don't know how to describe it. They all sounded like Make Yourself and Fungus Among Us, those albums.
Okay.
That was like super formative for me. I mean, that, you know, like that was I just started getting into guitar, and like when you're that age, you're like formulating your musical identity. You're, I don't know, like 6 years older than me. What do you, I don't know.
I'm 39. Thank you very much.
You know, but like now we're not that far apart, but like then you might as well have been an alien, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I know.
You know,
Yeah,
like
I
you're
know.
a business owner, like, you know, like whoa, you know? But
He
yeah.
started his business at like 14 though.
And so, you know, I remember seeing Jack. You know, I remember seeing Jack play, and like, you know, and that's what this benefit is, you know, it's for Jack Young. You know, so you know, fast forward, and then I start helping out with the production, and then you know, this year, Eric, you know, it was like, you know, we're gonna walk a little bit further in the door, you know, and so you know, and I can't help myself because it supports the community, you know, so like that's where it comes back around to me, is like I want to help support the community and be involved.
For sure.
And like, you know, if you know that you can contribute something and you don't, I would just feel like,
Yeah.
you know, like you know, I really could have helped that, but I didn't, and now it's not as good as it might have been if I
Right.
would have helped, you know. And that's not saying that I'm like a
But even the
savior or
memory,
something, you know, but like,
yeah, the connection, the memory.
Side note just occurred to me, Chris. You played in White Rose.
Yeah.
Did you play with White Rose at the first Particle, which they played at?
What year was it?
This year minus 20.
I mean, that could have been the
So
year that I
06.
wrote on the.
So
that
would
could have
have
been the year that I
2006.
wrote on the wall. Yeah.
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 No, the first year was at the first year of Particle was at the Thompson Rod and Gun.
Oh
Club.
no. So I would have been out of high school by then. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the second. Then the second and third were at Brooklyn Fairgrounds, and then
I played
fourth
in
and
White Rose Confession. I think my freshman, maybe my sophomore year of high school, but
okay.
it was a different incarnation of the band then. Paul Grady, I don't know if you remember.
Yep, I remember Paul.
Paul, he played drums, and then I played bass, and then Andy and Mike.
Yeah, Mike's about your age, though, right?
No, he's like maybe 4 years older than me. 4 or 5
Really?
years older, yeah.
So I'm 2 like chunks older than you.
My issue is that, I say issue, it just is what it is. I was always like, you know, was into music, into playing guitar. Everyone that like was interesting, that played musical instruments and stuff, was like
Much
almost
older
10 years
than you.
older than me.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I was just 14 playing in bars and stuff, you know. Like,
Wow.
it's just how it was for me.
Jack's like 3 plus years older than me. So
Yeah, that's just how it went. And so with you know, this year, you know, some of the things that we were talking about is like, you know, how do we, you know, really sort of start focusing on the music festival aspect of it, you know, and really exciting, like having Nick Boss in the Northern Roots. I mean, this is like a fantastic local, you know, sort of country band to headline the show. Is just super cool. Like I've worked with them at Hebron Fair. I mean, they are pro, like they're very, very good.
Nice.
And then you just go down the list, and it's you know, like local legends in a lot of ways, like, you know, and it's going to be a really cool show, and we're going to have one fire in the river to like, you know, honor Jack as well.
Nice.
Yep.
And just so everybody knows, it's Saturday, June 13th, 2026, from noon to 9 p.m. at the Rotary Park, Kennedy Drive, Putnam, Connecticut.
It's free. It's also
It's free.
free.
Yep.
free.
And like it's a
Family.
fun thing. Like bring your family, like bring your kids, hang out on the lawn for a bit.
Yeah.
You know, like The Putnam Arts Festival is also going on that day. There's gonna be a cool day for Putnam. There's like stuff happening, and you can come give me a high five.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And is it a lot different to do like a band versus like a stand-up comedian?
Yeah, it actually that's an interesting question.
Well, I'm just trying to find
Has to be
both
much
ends.
easier, right?
Yeah, it's I would say it's actually just as challenging in its own way, depending on the level of stakes. And I don't mean like ribeyes, but
Somebody say steak.
oh,
We all thought you meant the meat.
Side note: my son George he informed me this morning that he would like to cook steak this weekend, and that he would like to cook it. And so like, all right, like, let's do it.
Time to learn. Time to learn.
Let it ride.
So I have an IMDb page, like shameless plug. It just happened that way. Like I wasn't planning. It, like so. I've done several front of house gigs for different Netflix comedy specials and
wow.
hard stuff and different things with different production companies. But I've basically been the sound person, like the sound person for the audience for things that are on Netflix that you can go watch. And and the way that they do these shoots is there's two performances. So there's an early and a late performance. It's the same set, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
But because of all the camera equipment and the everything goes into recording it, they record everything twice, and then they take the best parts of the two performances, and that's what you see in the show.
So Kevin Hart does 2. Some do 3. Some do 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The ones I've done have only been 2. Yeah.
And it's funny because some of them only buy one shirt that they're wearing. Like, I wanted that shirt. Okay, you got to wear it 4 nights in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Or 4 shows in a row. Sometimes they do double. I listen to way too much.
Yeah.
What's worse is when they don't wear the same shirt, and then you see them. What was it? Eddie Murphy or one of them did that, where they're in the middle of a joke and then he's wearing different clothes.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, Jim. So I've done all the Jims: Jim Gaffigan, Jim Jeffries, and Jim Norton.
Nice.
But Jim Jeffries, he was putting on his leather jacket for one of his shows. It was at the Wilbur in Boston, and I just remember him looking at me and be like, "Do I look good?" And I was like, "Fine, like yeah, whatever, man. like don't talk to me." And
sounds great.
Yeah, whatever. And like Louis C.K. as well. I'm sorry, I'll pick up this name again. Louis C.K. He had to change his shirt because it's all coming back. He had multiples of the same shirt.
Yeah,
He's a sweater.
Yeah.
So he would change his shirt periodically.
Yep.
And so, he came backstage to change his shirt, and he was like, "Put your phone away."
Oh.
I don't need a picture of my,
Right.
me topless going on the internet.
That's funny. So that's pretty cool. Where did like Kevin Hart record? Where were you?
So that was he had this. I don't know if he still does it. It's called Heart of the City. So it's like he showcases local comedians. This is in Boston. So
okay. That makes sense.
it was like he was there and he introed and basically acted as like the MC and did a couple like lines and stuff. But it was more about like there's like 3 or 4 different sets from local comedians.
Nice.
And then but to your point, like how challenging it is, like with one microphone, there's one major problem that should be obvious is if that microphone goes down, there's nothing else to hide behind. And so compound that with it also being a television shoot, and there's like 60 crew members in a trailer out back and like all the cameras and stuff, is like it really can't go wrong, you know. I suppose it probably can. They'll just reset, but like in my mind, I'm like, this is as high stress as anything else I'll ever do.
Well, they're doing a lot of them live now too, so the stakes are even higher.
Yeah. So
you can't change your shirt.
with the band, if you lose a tom mic or something, it's like, we'll run up on stage and fix the tom mic, whatever,
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. When you see, so I don't watch them anymore, but the award shows, I feel like the music, when somebody will perform live, then they'll do some awards, and somebody will perform live again, that kind of rotation. I feel like the music is not great sound.
Yeah.
And you can't judge the singer by that.
Yeah.
because when it gets to you on TV, I feel like, I mean, I was watching the CMA Awards once, and Faith Hill, I had seen her live, and then like I was like, I know that's not her voice.
Oh,
Like,
really?
it was terrible
Oh, man.
on the CMA Awards. So I just was like wondering, like, do you know how to fix that? I still feel
No,
like,
I don't. Yeah,
I still
mean,
feel like
Auto-tune,
I like for
turn
that
up the
kind of
talent.
stuff. It's a world that I'm not involved with. I know a lot of the people that are like the production mixers for that kind of stuff. When it's something that's live like that, they'll have a rehearsal, but like they're not spending a month dialing in that mix. You know, it's a rehearsal and then it's go. You know, and so it's also being mixed down for broadcast, whether it's being mixed down for broadcast in a trailer or some studio that's not the live mix. That's, you know, the mix for the venue. It's being mixed by someone else in a trailer for TV or something. And, you know, these people are, it's real like guerrilla audio. Like they're trying to make it happen, you know?
Right.
And,
and I didn't
may
know
not
that
sound perfect. Yeah.
if it was because like they're going from talking to music and back and forth, and if that was like the big issue.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like the music awards where they have bands and stuff, it just never sounds
It's
quite
not,
right.
you know, it's not, it's,
They're not going to win any awards.
yeah, I mean, it's an awards show. It's not a concert. You know, it's not about. It's like a, you know, the token band performance or whatever. Like, like you know, just get through it. You know,
But
some
even
of them are better than others depending on their amount of rehearsing they've had and stuff. But you know, it's not going to be the same as a concert. You know, production quality. Yeah.
but I'll even say, like, even the Super Bowl, like, I didn't think the audio was great coming across the TV. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
stuff
it's
like
so
that.
challenging.
Yeah.
And there's you know, limited amount of time. You've got to get it right.
Yeah.
You know, it's high stakes, high pressure. You know.
Yeah.
The people that do that kind of work are like as professional as it gets. I mean, it's
Now you're getting a theater at that.
there's like you know, there's like, you know, you can realistically name everyone that can do that kind of work on like a hand. You know?
Wow.
Like I'm thinking of like 3 people that do that kind of work. You know.
Wow.
That like operate production mixing consoles and stuff. Or I say production as like a television production. Like
Yeah.
I know that there's definitely more than that, but like, you know, there's like a few guys that are just like the guys that are sort of like, you know, the guy that mixes the Grammys, has mixed the Grammys for years, you know.
Okay.
It's the same guy. You know?
I haven't watched that in a long time. I don't know.
I don't have cable, so.
Yeah, I don't either. And I haven't watched any of that in a long time. I just thought it was interesting that, I don't know, I just feel like those live, when they go live, and they just always sound off to me, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I have some friends that have gone through like the SNL thing. You know, they're on tour with a band, and the band has to play SNL, right?
Yeah.
And it's a union situation. They don't really get to mix their band. You know, the band that they mix every night, they don't get to mix them for SNL. Like, they get to sit next to someone that's the union guy that mixes the show and ask them to make changes or whatever. And you know, they're not like loading in their tour mix system. You know, they're not loading their file that they use every night. They're, you know, they're at the mercy of the person that runs the show. At least I understand it. I hope I'm right. You know, like this is, you know, again, I'm not in that world. I'm really in the live sound aspect of things, like concert production and stuff. In some ways, you know, that world is got its own players, you know, that you know, get into those jobs and they stay in those jobs for a very long time and stuff. Yeah.
Makes sense. Wow, man, that's wild. I don't know. Hey, you said nerdy. I don't know. I find this so interesting to me.
I'm hearing, this is the first time I'm hearing a lot of this. I didn't know about the comedy stuff. I got questions.
Yeah.
We're going to need more scotch.
Hey, we got a bottle over here. Is this what you had before?
That's what I'm having now.
The with comedy, because it's the human voice, there's an engineer named John Duva who got me into that kind of stuff. And it's, you know, ultimately what it comes down to is some of these production companies are like Los Angeles based. And so like for them to fly an engineer from LA to Boston or whatever, to put them in a house, you know, it's like, it's going to be a lot more cost effective for them to hire a local engineer that's capable of doing the show. Because I have the experience with SMAART and acoustical test and measurement, you know, someone like John knows that if he hires me, I'm going to make the room and the system, and it's all going to gel well because it's all about the the surround recording, and because we put microphones all over the place, because if someone's cackling in the balcony in row 5, you want to make sure that they get, that you can hear them. So there's shotgun microphones all over the place, pointed everywhere, to get full coverage of these spaces.
Yeah. Of the audience reaction.
Yeah, the audience reaction is huge with stand-up.
Well, and I've seen a lot of comedy specials that are, shall we say, not great. Like the comedian's like strictly okay. I'm a snob. And I hear audience reactions that are way louder and over the top, and I suspect a lot of times it's just them making 10 people laughing and clapping sound like 1,000,
But remember, even when you're
the cable guy,
when you're watching something on TV, like the special that was recorded, they say you lose 30% of the funny.
Oh yeah.
By the time it gets to the couch,
more over the top, yeah.
Right. So when you're live,
you're not in the vibe.
Right. When you're live, there's openers. There's a whole nother thing.
Like seeing a band versus listening to a CD. It's the same music, but you're there and you feel like you literally feel the sound.
Yeah.
I forget what comedian who said this, but it's like, if you're going to a comedy show, you want to laugh.
Yeah.
So you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like you're going and you want to have a good time. So like, you're not going there to not.
Yeah, you didn't pay money to be I don't want to watch.
Well, that's the advice Gary O gave me when me and Andy and Bob, the first year we did the Now comedy thing.
Yeah.
He said that you're going to be working with a crowd that's generous and they're there to laugh.
Yeah, cool.
Like that their purpose is to laugh.
Yeah.
So, even though I wasn't that funny, people laughed.
Yeah.
And then there's the third of the audience rule as well. If you get a third of the audience
on board,
laughing on board, the other 2/3 don't want to be left out, so they'll just laugh anyway. So there's that too. And I invited a lot of people to mine, so I may have I may have bought this little award over here.
Props to you guys for doing that.
Quite a few people in there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I mean, performing in general, it's something I grew up doing. I've toured as a guitar player. Like I've spent a lot of time on stage, but at this point, it's been much more on the other side of things. And I can't imagine going up and doing.
It feels so risky, but it feels so simple at the same time. But it's scary,
and it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like I was most
feels
nervous.
Great. Feels great.
I was just sitting there behind stages, waiting to go, just staring at the floor, like, oh, I'm gonna screw this up, the whole time.
Yeah, you were nervous.
I was so nervous.
That's one thing I've fortunately, for better or for worse, I don't really get the nerves so bad. Like, especially for what I like when it comes to sound engineering too. Like, like there's 800 people here. Very unlikely that any of them can do a better job than me.
Well, that's not going to be the thing if you ever try stand up. It just because the person next to you might be way better than, and they're just having a bad night or a great night, and you're having a bad night. It's like playing pool.
Yeah,
you need you need to have one beer, and you need to be on point.
Yeah,
or you're not.
Yeah,
yeah, and there's so many anomalies in comedy, especially now with like people getting kind of like doing a clip and they have that one good joke that goes off at every dinner party they were at, and they record it one time and it goes viral. So now they're hilarious to a lot of people, but it's like, they really have like
they banked a bunch of laughs,
and sometimes they rise to that occasion too. Like they're like, oh, I'm famous now I'll write an act. You know what I mean? And then they do well. There's just so much to it. It's and then there's the people that just grind it out for 20 years and then they're finally like in the limelight.
What's up with the Impractical Jokers? Are they still funny?
I haven't even heard of that show in a long time.
Oh, they're still going.
I don't have cable.
They're season 14, I think, right now. So
I feel like that's a good example of like, they have a TV show, so people like have that parasocial relationship already. And
yeah,
so they go see a stand-up routine and they're like, these guys are hilarious. I know they're hilarious because I see them edited to be hilarious on TV all the time,
right.
But
It's to me, it's very different, and they've talked about it. So Sal and Joe have both written acts, and they do stand up. They're on stand up tours, and they've been on podcast tours too. And Sal even admitted, he's like, with the show, it's like you have editing, you have your buddies right there with you. It is not the same as standing on stage alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's definitely different. And you get some of your fans are just always your fans or diehard fans. So like almost anything you say is going to be gold to them. There are comedians that will come right out when they're building their act. They'll come right out and say, "This isn't going to be that funny, don't you?" And they show up at a club to work on their act because like almost every act has to go through a certain amount of bombing to know what's funny and
sure,
stuff.
yeah.
And they'll
That's
talk,
like anything too, like any public speaking, one thing we didn't talk about is like the education aspect of Rational Acoustics. And so we have like I think I mentioned that we have a really large training network, like 25 or whatever people in like the world that teach people how to use our software. I used to be one of those people before the pandemic when I had children. I spent like a good third to 40% of the year traveling, doing training classes. It would like be a 3-day event. Everywhere from like, from Los Angeles to Singapore, like the whole world.
Wow.
And you just totally bomb it when you're first starting, you don't have your routine down. You don't, cause like, it's more or less the same class everywhere you go.
Teaching's hard.
But like, you don't have your like thing down. And like the first classes you do are just like, man, that sucks. It doesn't matter what people say. But
Yeah,
it's
man,
like,
that's like stand up. If you bomb, you don't come off and go, I wonder, did I just bomb?
Yeah.
I think maybe it's the stand up comedy is probably the closest analogy is teaching a group of strangers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and like I looked at it like I'd be drained after 8 hours of teaching because like you have to try to keep a room of people engaged in what you're doing and like while also conveying all this material. It's not jokes, it's material, but like
right,
and like that's keeping their attention, keeping them engaged.
Droning on, lecturing, that kind of it gets tough. Yeah.
And then once you get really good at it, you get calloused and you're like, oh yeah, I can do this in my sleep. And then like all of a sudden, like you just go and it's just muscle memory in some ways.
Right.
You just gotta stand up and start going, and your shtick, and exactly if it's 10:30 because what point you're hitting at 10:30, and it's like or whatever. What joke you're.
And then it's no fun. Yeah. Tell us where you met your wife. Speaking of having kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So my lovely wife Alyssa, she was a farrier when we met, so horseshoer.
Nice.
And her and Karen, she was a farrier for Karen, who's equestrian as well. Karen, one of the owners of Rational. And from what I understand, they'd been trying to kind of get us to meet for like a while, and we just kept on not crossing paths.
Yeah.
And then when Rational Acoustics had their 5th anniversary party, she came, and for me, it was just like, as soon as I saw her, it was like the only person in the room, like it was just like,
nice.
Okay, I don't care what else is happening tonight. I'm only giving this person attention.
Nice.
He's laying it on thick, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that was
Alyssa's blushing at home.
Yeah, that was like 2000. I want to say 2013. So we've been together ever since. Yeah.
Wow. And what was her connection to Rational Acoustic?
That she was Karen's farrier, friend of
the owner. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I thought she worked there, and you met
through
her. Work.
She does now. So
okay, I assume that's how.
Yeah.
So you met her because of Rational Acoustics,
right?
Even though she.
It sounds like nepotism got her in.
well, two of the owners are married, so actually, it's over the course of things, it's been quite a bit of a family affair. So the owners are married, and when we were dating, before we were engaged and stuff, like Alyssa would have loved to have worked at Rational Acoustics. She ended up going to school because it didn't seem like it was going to happen, so she went and got a degree at Eastern, and then when we got married, she was pregnant with our son. And then, it was very obvious that we needed someone to do HR and accounting and stuff. Like, we needed a position that she would be perfect for because she had a background in some of that stuff. And so at a certain point, Karen and Jamie were like, we don't really have a leg to stand on as far as like hiring a spouse. We are married.
Right.
And so,
that's great.
And so, yeah, she joined Rational Acoustics in like 2017, 2016, maybe. I don't know.
Nice.
Like it was a while ago. No, we got married in 2017, so it had to be after that, probably 2018, and then we got pregnant. So yeah, no, she probably started when she was pregnant because she didn't want to be horseshoeing pregnant.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
She if you listen to this,
She's
kill
home
me
like,
for not
we
getting
got
dates
pregnant.
right.
Excuse me.
She's like, you're
got
so bad at remembering dates, typical, Yeah, so even up until recently, our offices were actually like conjoined by a pocket door, and then I got booted out of my office because we hired a new employee, and we did a Rochambeau, and everyone kind of switched their offices in our building.
A
But-
Rochambeau.
So they had to separate you two? Is that what happened?
Well, now it's more of a traditional relationship where like we get home from work, and I can be like, "How was your day, honey?" Because
you don't know.
when our offices were joined, it was just like I would just be like, I'd finish a task, walk away from my computer, and go sit down in her office and just say hi,
Yeah.
But now I don't see her unless I, go over there, and it's like
Right,
on the
right.
other side of the half of the building, so it's like 20 steps. I'm not going to do that. Are you crazy?
And you guys were at Crabtree and Crabtree
we're over on Crabtree Lane and Woodstock.
Crabtree Lane, yeah.
Yeah, dead end road. It's great for us. Quiet, peaceful, and when we can make some noise if we need to, and
Nice.
we're not open to the public. We're not selling.
I
we don't
can't
have a
stop in there and
storefront,
buy a
yeah.
license for SMAART real quick.
Well, it's funny. It's like, we've had people, because we sell like microphones and different interfaces and things. And every once in a while, there'll be someone that's like, yeah, I live in, Brooklyn, for example, like,
Yeah.
and can I just come pick this up? And we're like, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
We haven't opened the front door in a while.
Yeah. Well, someone will let you in. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's, it's such a niche thing.
Yeah.
I think Jamie has said to me in the past, it's like selling race car tires to race car drivers. Like, your audience is limited. The product is special.
Yeah.
It's not a.
But that's a cool thing if someone from around here wants to go knock on the door. Do you do shadowing, like job shadowing? kind of
Yeah,
stuff?
we've been asked to, and every once in a while we'll have someone come out. I really think it's cool to have someone that's interested in the industry come, and we can give them a tour and show them what we do and stuff, and
Yeah.
sort of do what we're talking about now. Is just like, how do you get to here?
Yeah.
Because like I'm a big proponent of that. Just like kind of explaining how I like talking about how the sausage is made. Like, I think
Yeah.
it's really cool because it's not something that I knew was possible. Like, we use an application called Figma, which is used to design interface. And like, I think it's really neat to be able to show someone like, here's our interface, in Figma in a mock-up. Not operational, just like a page of the GUI, and then like here's the GUI that is an operational running software product, and like it started here and then got here,
Yeah.
and like people have to do that, like I have to do that, like people I work with, Hannah, she does interface design too, like we have to do that, like to back to the early part, like products don't make themselves,
Right. Yeah.
it's a whole thing. Like if you're interested in a certain thing, like have you ever considered that you could be the person that makes that thing?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
I think
that's
is a really
cool.
That's a really cool
Yeah,
way
'cause-
to look at life, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and everything's always upgrading to mine. It's kind of the bane of my existence when any of my programs that I use get updated. But
Constant struggle over, you don't want to pull the rug out from people and completely change where everything is, but
yeah.
like, at a certain point, if we could do it all over again, it wouldn't be this,
yeah, so you got to slowly kind of move
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
I understand, but it's still frustrating.
Yeah,
It's still frustrating.
Thank goodness for indecisive developers. They keep me in business.
Oh yeah, one of the like our I don't know if strategy is the right word, but like the way that things work is that we have every sort of 6 to 8 years we have a major new release. Like this is a new version. We're going from version 1 to 2, like, or whatever.
Yeah.
Right now it'd be 9 to 10 would be the next major version. That's when we can have an opportunity to really shake things up and sort of correct or add or whatever, like do the bigger changes that we've been wanting to do.
Yeah.
And then once you have that version out, you're locked into that for another
Wow,
6
it's
to
going
8
to look
years.
like this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's going to look like. Yeah, like we're not changing the color.
Unless you're Microsoft out.
Yeah, right.
Why do they do that like constantly?
Yeah. Next week it'll have 10 buttons, and then the following week it'll have 300.
Yeah. I mean, the thing, with it's a professional tool. SMAART is a professional tool. So
It's
like you don't
SMAART.
want
SMAART.
So system measurement, acoustical analysis, real time.
Okay.
In real time. The people that are using our products out there are like doing professional work. They have a limited amount of time to do the task that they're using our software for generally. The last thing they want to do is open up a computer and like have an update that happened overnight, and like the thing that they rely on is now in a different location, and like it would just unbelievably piss people off. And, And so the way that we sort of approach our big major upgrades is like, we really significantly reduce the price of the product for the release to get into the new platform for like the first like 90 days or so that it's released, just to incentivize people to get it, even if they don't switch over to it. But like, get on board, because this is the train that is now going to take you to the next decade,
Yeah.
And so you can get on now and, get a good deal, or you can wait until Mac OS decides not to support 64-bit products or something.
You're speaking in a foreign language, but I get what you're saying.
Well, you can try to, you can essentially like,
you can ride it till the wheels fall off, but they will fall off. So you got to have a contingency plan.
So like, if you want to keep the computer that you're using that happily runs the version of software that you're using right now indefinitely, good luck. Have fun.
Right.
We will eventually stop supporting that. And like the current platform is what is supported and is guaranteed to work on all modern operating systems and all modern devices and stuff. And we invite you to get on board. And if you choose not to, we'll catch you when you've gotten to a point where it's just not.
Must be nice anymore. Too. It's like, you gonna buy this. You're gonna buy it now, or you're gonna buy it in 2 years, 5 years, but you're gonna write a check.
Yeah. Well, you hope. Yeah.
Wow. What choice do they have? What is there a competitor to SMAART?
There's a few different software applications that do similar things. There's a company in Spain. There's a company in Brazil. And when I say company, I mean like it's like one person. Like there's some freeware stuff out of Russia, the developer in Russia. There's a lot of manufacturers have their own free version of some sort of analyzer that comes with the speaker system that you buy. Most speaker manufacturers have their own in-house engineering department version that they made in MATLAB or something. Where SMAART differentiates itself from those different products is that they're really just like one or two people. In some ways they're engineering products. They're not designed to be used in real time, like in situation in a high
moving
pressure,
from place to place,
needs to work every time. Some of them are sort of research projects where they do like one or two things really well and interesting, but everything else they do is like unusable,
Right.
And so where we set ourselves apart is that like it's a reliable tool that does what it does well. It's well researched, it's well documented. Like we have very detailed support files, documentation, videos. We have someone to answer the phone if you call for help. We have representatives in basically every country,
Wow.
in any language that you can pretty much think of. Don't test me on that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, like our Indian distributor speaks like 4 different languages,
Oh,
wow. So that's sort of the hard thing for a competitor to get over. is the infrastructure,
Yeah.
and and what we end up seeing is that when there is someone that comes on, especially now with like AI and vibe coding, it seems like I'm seeing a new analyzer every week, and they're just copying what we do.
I don't know what vibe coding is.
Oh, geez, explain that.
Uh,
I just
so-
learned this one a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago.
so Claude is what a lot of people use. Claude AI, Anthropic's AI company. It's like ChatGPT or Claude.
Yeah, which
or-
one's Claude?
It's
Is it the-
I don't know how else to
Coding
explain it. It's
oriented.
just one of them.
It's
like,
one of them, yeah.
Yeah, so like Anthropic is the company behind
I've heard of
Claude.
them. I just forget who
Claude is
developing.
known specifically, not only specifically, but it's like the go-to for scripting, coding.
Yeah, so what
Okay.
you can do is you can pay a subscription fee, and basically like tell Claude like I don't know, like design for me an application for iOS that will pull all the recipes for beef Wellington and rank them in order of Google reviews.
Okay.
And then like it'll vibe code you an app that will run on iOS that will collate all of the recipes for beef Wellington and then rank them by their review, like by their stars on Google.
Yeah.
So
So you know which beef Wellington recipe to use.
sure, yeah. I mean, that's like
What's the iOS
total off
part?
the dome, ridiculous,
Yeah.
example, but like, in terms of like an analyzer, you could like you could take a picture of our interface
Yeah.
and like say like recreate this, and this is
Oh,
what it
yeah,
does, and
Yeah.
then like it'll spit out a working executable that can run on a Windows operating system.
I mean, the vibe thing is really a pejorative. They're saying like this is just people that don't really know what they're doing, telling Claude to spit out
they're
this
trying to
product
mimic
and
the
then trying
vibe.
to use it for an official purpose
Yeah.
Yeah.
when it's terribly inefficient code or
Yeah, rather than like actually like going, into C++ and, using an actual coding language to like line by line, correctly create production code, which is a term that I've recently kind of discovered from our principled software developer. Like, there's like R&D, vibe coding, like, things like you're just trying to figure out if this is going to work and like maybe get an idea of how it's going to go. But like if you actually want to release it and have it be stable, like our senior developer calls that production code. Like this is for release, like,
yeah.
like it's streamlined, it's optimized, it's, whatever, but like, because I don't know how to do what he does, but like,
Right.
it goes through a whole round of like getting it optimized for a release.
Gotcha.
And it takes a person. It takes a human being.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to AI, I was thinking about starting to engage with it. Really,
Oh, I use it all the
really
time,
good.
man. I think it's great. It's a force multiplier,
See, I was trying to give it all the negative venting of my life, so maybe if and when it comes sentient, it'll just commit suicide.
Yeah. Well,
That's a new
like,
bit I'm working on.
The Terminator, yeah.
Well, if it's sentient, that means it can be depressed, right?
That's the first thing it'll do when it.
I think I have
the Turing
what
test
it-
is like you pass the Turing test, you get depressed.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I feel I feel like I
All
have
of
what it
humans-
takes
all the
to
humanity's
depress.
loathing, yeah. No, I embrace it. I think, like people of our age, like, we grew up not having it. And so like, we could figure out how to do all the work on our own if we need to, but like, it's a force multiplier. So like I can go to Claude and be like, treat it like a really robust Google,
Yeah.
like, give me 5 different ways to cook a flank steak using these ingredients, and like I'm saying like that's a way that I'll use it in my personal life, but like in my professional life, we have an account like with our company that's like a walled garden, so like the stuff we put in it doesn't go into the mainframe, at least that's what we think we're paying for.
Yeah.
But like I'll write a description for something and then put it into Claude and be like, can you just like consolidate this into its core, whatever, and then it'll give me back some garbage that like completely lost the meaning, but it's like 50 less characters, and I can add back in like 4
Yeah.
and like get to where I needed to go. And so it's like great for doing that kind of stuff, like outlining things where it's like, you just kind of put your like what your idea is for things, like create me an outline for this, and then you go and fill in all the content. It just like gets you to a place where then you can actually apply your knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, so much faster.
So it's like building a house with a skill saw instead of a manual saw, versus the people that want to just have the house built and not do anything.
Yeah.
Just say, robot, do it for me.
Yeah, I don't want that because like,
No, the problem is that's what a lot of people are using it for, and you see the meme going around like, I'm not coming to your show if the flyer's made with AI.
Right.
I'm not coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stuff
Yeah,
like
there's
that.
even-
a lot of, in the art community mainly.
I feel that deeply. Like,
You know?
I see a lot of in the community, like, you know, that's like that Chat GPT like cartoon style, you know, and it just kind of like I just look at it and I have a reaction. It's just like you could have put in a little bit more effort, you know, like you could have gone to Canva for free.
Yeah.
You know?
He's talking about my cartoons.
Well, like this, you know, like I made this in Canva in like, I don't know, it took me 3 minutes
Yeah.
to put this together, you know, this flyer.
Yeah.
And part of that is just like, you know, I'm a visual person and I design interface for a living too. So like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm happy to do that. But yeah, I'm like, come on, just
I think we ought to make him tell a joke, because I told that that joke with the bees, the guy with the bees at the bar, and it just landed flat. So I think we should put him on the spot and make him tell a joke.
not gonna happen. Not gonna happen, yeah.
No?
Not gonna happen.
You think we'll get you in a show?
Yeah.
With months to prep? Because you get months
maybe.
to prep.
Yeah, maybe I would.
Like if you say I'm gonna do it now,
Yeah.
you have until like January to prep. So if you're
Well,
gonna like,
what's funny is I've actually been like kind of like thinking of how I would approach a stand-up act after like watching you do this. You know, it's like, what would I like? It'd have to be like some sort of like observational comedy, but like I just don't know if my life is that funny. You know, like
Just find
Yeah.
one funny
Yeah.
mundane thing and
Yeah.
then riff on that one thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then say, I'm going to write 10 jokes about this one thing, and 8 of them will be terrible.
Yeah.
And then you write another 10, and 8 of them will
Oh,
be
yeah.
terrible. And then
Yeah.
you'll have 4.
8 of them will be terrible, and the other 2 need work.
Yeah. I'm not saying they're going to be good. I'm saying they're not terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They have
definitely
legs.
it's definitely a quantity.
You could tell
thing at
jokes about the
first.
car wash or.
I also like. I really like watching stand-up comedians that have like an interesting voice. You like an interesting way of talking.
Gilbert
Yeah.
Godfrey.
I don't have that. Like I just have like a nasally. Like I sound like I'm stuffed up. You know, like I don't have an interesting voice. You know?
I think you have a kind of a mid-low voice, so you don't sound
Yeah,
nasally.
the best advice I got for comedy was you take your life and lean into it,
Yeah.
and then that does 2 things. First, you're comfortable with what it is because it's your life. The second thing is no one can copy it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And you're
I
a
mean,
subject matter
yeah.
expert.
like
Right.
part of the things
Yeah.
too is like, you know, I would love to like sort of joke about how, you know, like I'm the best person at loading the dishwasher in our household. It's like it's a fact.
yeah,
It's been proven that it's a fact because like when we go to other places for dinner, like other houses for dinner, I'll load their dishwasher and then get a text afterwards. It's like, this is the first time that I haven't had to reload the dishwasher after someone's loaded my dishwasher. But like when my wife will open the dishwasher after I've loaded it, she'll look at me like I'm crazy. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, everything is in there. Everything is in the dishwasher. What do you mean? It's
You pack the car,
And it
too.
got
You're the
clean.
one that fits
yeah,
like 12.
Tetris,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
Yeah.
You know what that's from? That's from touring.
I was gonna
with
say
bands.
I was on a tour with a band, dude. I've loaded that trailer.
You gotta fit a
man.
drum set in the
Yeah.
back of a Civic with a bass, a guitar, and 4
Oh, dude,
sweaty
when
dudes.
when we toured Canada, we ditched our trailer and we left it in Detroit for us to get or wherever we left it. We ditched it because like we didn't want to have to pay the visa as like a touring band. We just wanted to pretend that we were on vacation, and so
They find your press kits in the van when they searched it.
no, we just put our stuff in the back of the van, loaded it all the way up, and then like didn't take any merch. Just said that we were on a road trip. And like, why are you on a road trip with a bunch of guitars? You know, like why are you on a road trip with a drum set?
that was the only luggage we had.
Yeah.
That happened to me with my friend Shane's band. Shout out Shane. And we got turned away at the Canadian border.
Oh, we got
I didn't
torn through.
realize,
Yeah.
but they, shall we say, were trying to do a similar thing, and they, for whatever reason, searched the van and came back, and they were like, "Well, what are all these press kits?" You said you're not playing a show, but like it has all the shows listed that you're playing this weekend.
Yeah, to be specific, what happened was our we had gotten a visa to tour, you know, but like what we did was we didn't bring any merchandise, and so we didn't have to pay taxes on T-shirts and all the stuff that we
There you
did.
go.
So we paid for the like, you know, the dates to be in Canada and tour as a band, but they still went through and they emptied everything out of our van. And they lined everything up on the road and like went through everything for paraphernalia and whatever. But the first show we played, we had merch delivered to that show, so that way we didn't have to pay taxes on it or anything. And then we sold it all before we got back into America.
I ordered the shirts from that guy in New Haven too, Connecticut hardcore, probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He used to drop ship all over the place.
I never realized getting into Canada was that hard if you're trying to work there. I guess.
Well, they just want to make sure that you're paying your
Well, it's
taxes and
a
stuff.
source of income, I'm sure.
Right,
Like
yeah.
it is, and
That makes
Little did
sense.
they know we were playing to like 30 people a night, so
last thing they need is like you know indie emo bands showing up and not leaving. You know?
yeah, right. Getting health insurance. Yeah. How dare you, Americans,
Yeah, they
come
break
try to get health
bones every
insurance.
3 minutes. These guys, and they just won't stop whining.
My favorite memory from that whole experience was playing in Prince Edward Island. Like, because you have to, you know, it's like difficult to get there. It's like a really long bridge, so you have to pay like $20 to cross.
Wow.
On the way back, they let you go there for free. You gotta pay to leave.
Oh,
Now
Prince
we got
Albert.
you.
I thought you meant Prince Albert. I'm
No,
sorry.
Prince Edward. Prince
Easy,
Edward Island.
easy. We are PG-13.
That's harder to get.
And,
I tell you.
You're like we're like a broke band, you know. Like there wasn't much money in hardcore, and there's probably still isn't. And
Well, they just changed the name now.
yeah,
They don't call it that.
yeah.
Call it a million other things. but
Yeah.
not that.
So you know, we play this show at like a you know, community center or something in Prince Edward Island, and the promoter got us like Wendy's for dinner, you know, and but like the local band from the island thought that it was like for them and the $8 dinner, and I just remember like laying on the most like ridiculous dad guilt, you know, just like, you realize, son, like we are from 2,000 miles away, we have no money, and you just ate our dinner. And this kid, I think he probably cried. And he went and he got us, and he bought us pizzas or whatever. He's like, I'm so sorry.
That's funny. Well, man, thank you so much for coming out here and sharing what you do with
Chit-chatting.
us.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. I really appreciate it. Obviously, anytime you guys want to come and promote Particle Accelerator and you want to talk more about what you do, it's super interesting to me. You're always welcome here
Oh,
at the
cool.
bench.
Thanks. Yeah.
Appreciate
Like,
it.
I
we'll drop
appreciate
by. It's once a month. You just drop by. It's free whiskey.
It's once a week, first
Once
of
a
all.
week. Okay. Well, I'm
here
gonna come
every
once
Monday.
a month.
We're here every Monday, but yeah, you guys can show up anytime.
Every Monday we do this.
Yeah.
Jeez. Do you have to be in the show to drink the whiskey? Can I
Nope.
just be over there with
No,
the furnace?
people have asked if we should have a studio audience.
give 'em a
or-
phone.
Oh, yeah,
Good.
yeah,
And I'll set up a folding chair for you. I will.
I'll be over there.
Eat popcorn. Yeah.
Yeah,
Throwing kernels.
that would be funny too.
Yeah.
Tomatoes like Fozzie. I knew watching the Muppet Babies would pay off.
You're good.
But
Yeah, well, thanks,
like,
thanks for having me. I mean, like, I know this is like probably a different thing. Like, I'm not a local business owner, like local, you know, whatever. But I do think what we do is cool, and I'm happy that you were interested enough to. I said no, and then you were like, no, like, come on.
Well, I tell you, this is way more interesting than mine. More stuff to talk about.
yeah, no, I definitely, yeah, we, you know, I always say, and whoever we feel like talking to, because I just feel like there's just so many occupations that people don't know about. There's, you know, and yeah, there's just like other people that are so good at what they do as an employee. You know what I mean? That I just feel like it deserves a spotlight, and
Yeah.
like this is what you could aspire to be.
Yeah.
If you know, having your own business isn't in the cards or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
Is there-
that's a great point.
There's a lot of people, especially business owners, that hate running the business.
Oh yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So
They got into it to do the job, and now
Right,
they're
and now they have to run
computer
the
doing
business.
accounting or whatever. Yeah,
yeah, now they have to run the business, which who knows? Maybe on a different path, if you had owned a place like SMAART, maybe you'd hate it. You know what I mean? Because you're not doing what you know, the audio
Can
engineering,
confirm.
you know.
Yeah. Savages for sale.
Everything's for sale, my boy.
And thank you, Eric, for being here. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I had a lot of fun hitting the buttons. One thing I wanted to try, though, is, Chris, I need you to make a really surprised face. 1, 2, 3. I just thought that might look cool.
We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. The Community Workbench family is promoting their Be the One campaign. It was started by the American Legion in efforts to stop veteran suicide. If you know a veteran, call them. Be the one to check in on them. For more details, visit betheone.org. Also, please extend that to all first responders as well. The Quiet Corner Peer Support Group is a great resource for help when dealing with PTSD. They have a Facebook page, everything you need. Just get a hold of them through that. Next Monday night, we may have the night off. I couldn't really think of what I wanted to do for a Memorial Day special. I finally thought of something and reached out to a couple of a veteran and his wife today. They're going to give me an answer tomorrow as to whether or not they're going to be busy for Memorial Day weekend or for Memorial Day, the Monday evening. And they're both in the military. One's retired, one's still active duty. And, you know, they're a local family. Love to hear from them. So if not for Memorial Day, we'll either have the day off or we'll have them on. And if we don't have them on, then we will have them on eventually. And as always, buy local, hire local, dine local, volunteer local, donate local. Check out all kinds of things at Rational Acoustics. There might be an occupation there for you. And other than that, have great days.